Welcome back to another episode of the Downsizing Roadmap podcast with your hosts, Jody Rosko and Heather Fisher. We're talking about all things downsizing, from our own experiences with clients to guest experts. Let's make downsizing easier, one conversation at a time. Hey, welcome back to Downsizing Roadmap. We're here today. I'm Jody Rosko.
I'm Heather Fisher.
And we're talking today about how downsizing moves are different than other moves.
Yeah, more challenging sometimes, and how you can build a team of people you didn't even know that you need to make it easier.
That's for sure. When I ended up with my mom's house, I definitely needed a group of people, and I didn't even know all the people that I needed until I started digging into it. So
I'm glad that, through that we have found the people, because going through a lot of that for my own family and just gathering those sources, it's good to have it. And the things you don't even know that you don't know, we hope to share some of that. So.
Exactly, because I sometimes people will say, well, what questions do you have? And I'm like, I don't even know what questions you don't sometimes even know the questions, let alone who to ask them to. So we'll figure out today. We'll talk about building a dream team, a downsizing dream team, right?
Yes, and I think that there's hope. If you're feeling like things are really hard, we'll show you some ways that there are people that make those hard steps easier, simpler, and quicker.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Okay. So why do you think that a downsizing move is more challenging?
I think there's a bunch of reasons, actually. When you're just starting out or you're moving, maybe you have a child or you're just getting your first house, you don't have a lot of stuff to bring in. That's totally different from being in a house for 30 or 40 years and collecting things, really things that mean something to you.
Yeah. And your college coffee table and your milk crates and, all of your stuff in 4 or 5 boxes coming from an apartment is much different.
Yeah, it's not the same. And you fit in the new house because there's so much room in it. You don't even have enough furniture for all the rooms. I remember my first house that we bought, we needed to buy furniture for some of the rooms, right?
Absolutely.
So, but downsizing, you are taking all the stuff that you've accumulated and trying to put it into a smaller space instead of a bigger space. So that's one thing I think that is really challenging, just maybe the amount of stuff that people have. And then the emotional around the stuff that the people have, right? It's sometimes hard to let go of things.
Absolutely. And because it's hard, we don't do it along the way. Right. So we all forget that one in, one out rule, and we just bring in more and
all the in and none of the out.
Yes. Hopefully we're not still finding that college coffee table in the basement somewhere, but
I'm pretty sure Mark's things moved their way out way before my things did.
Yes. Yeah. So I think definitely the stuff is what we hear most, and we've talked about that a little bit in other episodes, and we will a lot because that's
it's a big piece of it.
A main thing. I think sometimes what we find is that it is a lot of people working on the process, meaning family. Mm-hmm. If it's adult children helping their parents, or it's a home that you're trying to go through all of the things that someone has passed away, or you're handling decisions, but you are not the one living in the house, all of those pieces, you hope that you have the right documents in line and that someone has done estate planning, financial planning, all of that, but you're not sure if you don't do this every day. And so I think you need a team of, us as the real estate agents and title companies and a financial planner or, estate and elder law attorneys to make sure all of those pieces, paperwork-wise, work together to let you sell the home or do the financial pieces that you need to. And you need those resources to look at it for you and make sure that's all in line.
Yeah. So if you're moving to a smaller place, there's all this stuff, there may be, like you said, financial constraints. Where are we going to go? That's a question. I think that there's a lot of fear actually around it. So that's, I think, another reason why downsizing is different than maybe upsizing. Seems maybe more exciting. Sometimes if it's downsizing, it might be a little bit scary.
Yeah.
You know where you are, you know what your house is like, you don't know what that future looks like. And so spending some time thinking about that future and what it looks like and how it could be great, because I think sometimes our mindset gets in a place where maybe it's something that's happening to you or you have to do this and you don't want to. But if you kind of change your mindset around that and think, oh my gosh, this could be great. I do not have to mow that lawn one more time.
Yeah.
I do not have to take care of those 27 flower beds I thought were a really great idea. And even if you love gardening, it could be a smaller amount of gardening in a smaller place. So it's not like you're giving up things that you really.
You have to find those ways to make them more manageable in a different space or a different time of life.
Right.
You can still do the things you enjoy, just finding how it fits into whatever phase you're in.
Yeah, I think sometimes you do have to just make it in smaller pieces of what you love, but something more manageable, and really start to think about, get a little dreamy about what it can be, what those goals are going to look like. Is it going to be that you get to travel more, that you spend more time with your family, that you just don't have to take care of as big of a space?
Peace of mind from safety or health concerns.
Right. Safety is a big deal. Does the house not work anymore? Can you not get upstairs really easily? Like those kind of things. And so really start thinking about it as a positive instead of something that's scary, because I do think that sometimes fear kind of comes into it and causes people to have a less good experience than they could have.
Yeah. I think sometimes a downsizing move is different because of timeline too.
Right.
That hopefully you're listening and taking some advice and doing lots of planning ahead and taking it at whatever pace you can. But oftentimes we run into clients that haven't done that, and then it's crisis and quick timelines, and getting all the things done in a quick pace on your own is not easy. So that's where that dream team of people who do it day in and day out can come in and do something quicker, that, things that are possible to do on your own. But if you've run out of a timeline,
Right.
And you have to do it quicker, those resources can pick up that, slack for you and do it quickly and get it accomplished in the easiest way.
Yeah, I think that sometimes I think if you're listening to us, what our goal for you would be to just get started. And whenever it is that you're ready to make that move, you will be ready. So as we start talking about these things, and we'll get in depth in some other episodes specifically about, financing and all kinds of paperwork and all kinds of things, pictures, what are you doing with all your pictures,
Yeah.
all kinds of things. We'll get in depth with that stuff. But our goal is for you to just get yourself ready. And sometimes that may take a year or two. But if you don't have that time, don't worry about it. If you have to get something done immediately, we can absolutely help you get that done, no matter how overwhelming it seems to be. If you have that team of people, it can happen really quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is the best advice that we can give, is to be ready to be ready.
Right.
And if you're not, we can help with that piece. So, either way, the path works.
Yeah, we have a 5-step process, and the first 3 steps are basically the getting ready, and then the second 2 steps have to do with selling the house, which, eventually is going to have to happen, or you'll want it to happen. Actually,
Yeah.
Again, we talk to people all the time who have felt so overwhelmed and weren't sure where to start. And once they do it and they move, they're always like, oh my gosh, why didn't we do this sooner? This is so great.
Absolutely.
So
over and over, we hear that
so many times. So don't, if you're stuck, that's okay. We'll try to get you unstuck. But I do think that waiting too long We have definitely seen that, and then that makes it just so painful because then it comes from a point of crisis, and either you're not healthy enough to handle it, make those choices yourself. Somebody might have to make them for you. So again, we get started soon. That's what our goal of this podcast is to get you motivated to go.
And if you do that and you're ready to go, that time that you're living in your current home and haven't made a downsizing move yet is actually more enjoyable as well, because
Right.
you've gotten rid of stuff to dust, and you have the freedom of your space being clean and clear, and you don't have the weight of, oh, I should fill in
Yeah.
the blank, whatever, clean out the spare closet or go through the paperwork. You've done that. So whether you're ready to make that move or not, you have freed up time and energy and, freedom in your life where you can just enjoy your hobbies and all the things.
Yeah.
So either way, get started and get to that point of being ready.
Yeah, because I think whether you think so or not, it weighs on you. You know that you're leaving a mess for your kids, or that you are living in, in something that doesn't feel great for you. And even though you just deal with it every day, when you clean it out, it just feels so amazing. It just feels so amazing. So, yeah, I think those are the reasons. I think decision fatigue can also be a little bit of a problem when you're doing downsizing, because you have so many decisions to make, not only like where you're going and what that's going to look like next, but each individual item that you're looking at in your house, is a decision, and that feels like a lot. And so I think there's a little bit of that too.
Yeah. When you get started and you do a little bit at a time, you can manage that decision fatigue much better, because when it sets in and you're wanting to cling to the, gum wrappers is what the example you always give, like,
Right.
I can't get rid of this, last gum wrapper. It's my most important one.
Right.
When you're at that point, you can stop for the day and reward yourself that you did a little bit of action. And, we know from our own business and own things, a little bit of action each day adds up to, incredible results.
Right.
So although it seems overwhelming, you take those small bites every day, and then suddenly you've accomplished so much. So it's definitely a good way to approach it.
Yes, I totally agree. So let's talk about who are the vendors, who are the kind of people, what kind of dream team do we need to put together? Like, who are they, and what can they do for us?
Yeah, I think there's a couple different big, broader categories. And if the first category we talk about is stuff, that can be anyone from estate sales to donation resources to clean out people. So do we want to dive into a little bit to what each of those do and what those are?
Yeah.
An estate sale is a great path if you are ready to, you're ready for that next place and you know where you're going. The estate sale path pretty much looks like taking what you want, what your family wants, all of those choices, but all of the rest that you don't need or want anymore, you don't have to, sell each item individually yourself, or pack each item, or store each item, or convince each kid to take it one by one.
Guilt is not a gift.
Yes, I love that. Guilt is not a gift. You can just take what you're taking and what the family's taking and move to your next place. And then an estate sale company will come in and do the sorting and pricing and advertising for the sale and handling, of a sale. I don't think I personally do not like garage sales. So someone else to have them. So someone else, having that sale and handling all of that, I would much rather do. I don't think there's a lot of people that love all that time and effort for a garage, holding a garage sale, and the estate sale is, that, but better, a professional version of that. So if other people are doing that, and you are comfortably settled in with all the things you love at your new place, that is a really great option to do that. And an estate sale company typically will then handle it from that point to your home is empty and ready to sell and clean. So all of those steps follow behind that you're not coordinating with donating what did not sell, final trash out of things that were broken or damaged and things that can't be donated, and then a cleaning crew to get the home ready to go on the market. So all of that being handled for you.
Yeah, I think an estate sale is great if you want to move fast. Sort of fast.
Yeah.
Estate sales are a couple months out, and so if you really have to move fast, then that may not be the option for you. But if and we found that most estate sale people are booking a month and a half to a couple months,
and they need
out.
a little time to prep
Right.
for the sale and advertise it.
Right. So there has to be a little bit of time in there. But if you have a few months time frame, and you don't want to go through every single thing in your house, then I think an estate sale is great. I think some misconceptions about estate sales are, I think that you're going to just make tons of money. And
Don't we wish?
and so I think that estate sales are really great for what you just said, in that they get, it's like you put that machine into process, and it just gets handled, and when they're done, then the house is empty, and whether you have to make some repairs or whatnot, other than that, it's ready to go,
Yeah.
ready to be put on the market. So I think estate sales are fabulous for that, and you're not the one doing it.
Yeah.
Whether that's hefting things into the
Dumpsters
dumpster. I have done that.
Driving it carload by carload to donate.
And back to the decision fatigue, trying to decide, where should each of these things go. Now, if you have a couple years and you think that's what you want to do, maybe you do go ahead and donate and, get things into the places that you want them to, and just kind of live in that, more simplified, cleaned out house. And then, at the end,
you're ready to be ready.
yeah, you're ready
Yeah.
to be ready. So I do love estate sales for that purpose, especially. But I think sometimes, unless you have things that had a lot of value to begin with, that you were really spent a lot of money on, the best part of the estate sale is that
Handled
it's done
for you. Yes.
Yeah. So
Big fans of that.
big fans of that.
Yeah.
So and auction is the same kind of idea. So
Yeah.
a little bit different way that they handle it, but the same kind of an idea of an auction versus an estate sale.
Yeah, correct. And then, staying on the house for a minute, if someone's been in their house for a long time, it's likely that, sometimes all the maintenance items have been kept up on. Sometimes it's a situation where there's been some deferred maintenance and things need done. And sometimes it's a matter of, we've been here a long time, we're not sure if we should do updates to get it ready. What repairs should we do? What repairs should we put on hold? So I think, real estate agents, us, were a big part of that dream team at the front end, to get the ball rolling on any of those suggestions, so that you can make decisions that make you the most money when you sell the house, but don't spend money that you're not going to get back in return.
Right. I hate it when I go to talk to somebody about selling their property and they've done things that they're just not going to get their money back from, and there's still things that need to be done that they have to do really to get the house sold. And so I want them to spend their money really in places that actually will, get them back a return, and not spend their money if that's not the case. And so we're happy to talk to people, even if it's going to be a year or so before you're actually going to move. Call us and we will, make a plan with you, not only help you with some of these vendor people that, dream team people that can help you, but also talk about the house and what that plan could look like, what absolutely should be done and what shouldn't be done and what doesn't need to be done. Because I just don't like to see people spend money they don't need to spend.
I think more often than not, when we're talking, when we're walking through someone's home with them, more times they're surprised at what we tell them they don't need to do.
Right.
The real estate market is different in different eras, different, whatever. And
Yeah.
I think they're surprised maybe before we were there, they're thinking, oh, I need to totally remodel this kitchen and these
Yeah.
bathrooms. And that's, not the case all the time. And
Right.
so I think you might be pleasantly surprised that your list is shorter
Yeah.
after that strategy session versus what you might have imagined in your head to get a home ready to sell down the line.
Yeah. So if you can't get yourself motivated to do things, somebody else that could be on the dream team is a professional organizer.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So there we have some people who do that, and you definitely could have somebody just come walk hand in hand with you. Basically, how they work is they usually come kind of assess what needs to happen, work alongside you for a little while, and then give you some homework.
Yeah.
And kind of make that be like an accountability situation, so that next week when they come back, that stuff is hopefully, you've gone through that one box, not overwhelming amount, but just have somebody, number one, in the beginning to walk you side by side and just talk to you about it. And then, give you some homework to get that done.
Yeah, absolutely. That goes back to that decision fatigue and that strategy. If, the big concept of, I need to get rid of things, I have too much stuff. That's not a defined plan. So I think that professional organizer, she can make that same type of plan for the downsizing of your stuff and helping know what do you need to make decisions on today. I'll be back, tomorrow and doing some of that together and maybe some of the labor part of it too as well, when
For sure. Yeah, if the boxes are too heavy or any of that stuff needs to happen.
Setting up those stations for
and
going
same
through
for
it.
actually moving into the new place. Like we have people that can unpack you, help set up the house, all of those things, depending on if you need that, because your level of ability is not able to do that. We absolutely have that. Or if you're just overwhelmed by the thought process of it, sometimes it just genuinely helps to have somebody walking alongside of you doing it.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost a designer with your own things.
Yeah,
they're
exactly.
setting up your new space with the things that you love and, in a way that, maybe it's just a lot for any of us to do on our own. So that's great. That's great.
If you have gone the path where you are going through things, we have some great donation places on our website, so you can take a look at that at www.downsizingroadmap.com, and take a look at different places that you can donate things if you're looking specifically for that. I do love to find places that really need certain items and be able to get them in the hands of the people that need them.
Yeah, absolutely. It makes it much easier to get rid of things when they're going to be loved and needed by the next person.
Right. So if you're going that route where you're going through the stuff yourself and you're looking for donation places, take a look there. But they're in every city. There are some amazing people doing amazing things, and can help you with donations. So that's another one. Professional cleaners. You might, you're probably going to need somebody to clean the house once you're done.
Yeah.
I know I would want that. I mean, can you do it? Yes. And if that's in your time frame, that's okay. But sometimes somebody can just come in and in several hours get that house, clean. Because when you're doing that, once the house is empty, now we're cleaning baseboards and
ceiling fans and blinds and all of that.
Yeah.
I mean, this is one of those things that any move can use this
For
on
sure.
their team. But it's not a reflection of how you've kept your house and all of that. Every house, once you move all that furniture out and once you pull things out of the cupboards. Every house needs that really deep
Yep.
clean. No matter what it looked like from the start, it needs all that dust and, the stuff that was tucked behind dressers you didn't move and, under the bed and things like that. So that's a great, resource to have, and just have it handled, move to the next place and be settled, and let someone else be doing all of that scrubbing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Have we handled everything in the house? Contractors, we have all of those, no matter what needs to happen with the house, we have all of those people. And if you're not in our area, your realtor also probably has those people, or some good resources to be able to find those people. But
Yeah.
sometimes, I'm not going to advocate storage facilities, but sometimes you do need to take some things out of the house to sell it. If your move is a
transition.
So sometimes storage units or pods or something like that could be part of your moving, but I'd really rather have you let it go.
Yes. And if you have the storage unit already, make that part of the whole process, and don't, let's move that budget item off the list. And,
Right.
What does our Jerry Seinfeld videos say, that you're paying to go visit
Your
your garbage.
That everything is in the process of becoming garbage. And so once you have put it out of sight, out of mind, right, it's more likely to be that than not. And it may not actually be garbage, but it might be not useful to you anymore in your life, which means it's time to let it go.
Get it to the place it needs to go. If that's family, move it to the where they need to have it. If it's donation, let someone else get life out of it. If it's something that you love so much that you want in your life every day, let's find a way to honor that piece and make room for it, or make a piece of a collection something that you can enjoy every day. That's the most important part, I think, is enjoying the things you love, not having dusty boxes of things you don't love.
Right, for sure.
That's it in a nutshell.
And you have to be honest with yourself. If it's in a box, you don't love it. Because or you don't have the room for it, so something else needs to go so that you can display it. And so
you need some ideas to get it out of the box and use it in a way that works for the space and life stage that you're in.
Yep.
Honestly.
Yeah. So a different category, and I guess part of it goes with going through your things, but paperwork and financial documents, you may need a financial advisor and or an estate lawyer.
Yeah.
So
both, probably.
Yeah, probably both.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure that the deed is properly written, so that if it's a survivorship deed, so that if one spouse passes away, it automatically goes to the other one. There's a lot of things that there are unknowns about sometimes, that you didn't know it wasn't set up the way that it needed to be set up. We've had that happen with our own clients. And so having somebody look over that information is super important.
Yeah.
And also
protecting your assets.
Yep.
It would be wonderful if we just worked and saved our money and it was, that was the simple part of it, and we were done, and, we just knew how much we had. But I know for me personally, it can get overwhelming and confusing to just not know all of the things financial that you don't know. Laws change, policies change, everything happens. So make sure you have just someone reviewing your financial picture and all of the estate planning documents that you've done. Once a year would be ideal, at least every couple years. Just make sure that you, have someone in your court that is looking at that and looking at ways that, you will benefit, not be penalized for decisions that you make. I think that's really important. I think, too, if you're, looking to move to another home, a condo or a smaller home or a ranch, there's a lot of unknown financials if it's been 30 years since you bought a house last and you haven't had a mortgage for a while, and you might, are you transferring equity from your current home to the next? How do you do that without being homeless in the interim? How do you do that if you need a mortgage on that next place? How do you do that if you're in retirement and your income is not different? I mean, I think there's just a lot of questions that can come up. So part of that dream team that you're assembling, you definitely want to be those financial people,
right,
that can make sure you're making a good decision.
So your job to get to that point is to get all of the important papers in your house in one place. And so I know this specifically because it took me 2 weeks to find the title to my mom's car after she passed away, along with, all these other papers that it was in with, like junk mail and stuff. It was just a mess. And so if you put all that paperwork together in one place, that makes it easy for you to take to your financial advisor and your estate attorney, because they're going to need it anyway. But most of the paper that we have in our house can go away. Tax returns from 1972 don't need to be with us anymore. We just need basically our most recent statements from all of our accounts that we have, and then a lot of the marriage certificates, deaths, anything like that, military paperwork, those kind of things. Title to the car.
Yes, titles for anything, passwords, a list of your passwords, and I think as more and more things are electronic, just kind of a list of companies that you have credit cards with, bank accounts with, auto pay with, just basically a budget overview of where you pay things and who you pay them to. Because if someone, your spouse needs to take over handling something that you handled, or your adult kids, or, anything, if someone is stepping in to help with those things, if it's all electronic, there's not a stack of mail to go through and look at what bills are coming in. So make sure those email passwords so someone can see what's coming in. If it's done by email, or, logins and passwords to those accounts that would be critical to the financial picture, make sure that they're all in one place, that someone trusted knows where they are.
And the other thing that you need is you need to write down your password to your phone. If you have your phone password, a code to open your phone, you need that, because I found out the hard way that if you try to change the password on one because you don't know it, like for example, you're trying to look at their utility bill or whatever, then they will send a email security code to the phone. And if you don't know the code for the phone, then you can't get the security code to change the password. So it's a whole thing. But
circle of frustration,
yes.
For sure.
So make sure that you put all that information in one place. As you're cleaning out your things, you don't need any of your old magazines or any of those things. All that can be found on Google, but just important paperwork all in one place. And we'll do an episode on paperwork because it's a big deal.
Yeah, a deep dive is needed for sure. But back to that, be ready. If a crisis situation comes up, minor or major, if you need all of that suddenly because someone's in the hospital or someone is, something has changed, when you have it all in one spot, everything is easier.
Yeah.
And you're not like, I think it's in one of these 12 file cabinets. Let me look. In moments of that, when you're ready to do something else and you need that paperwork, you don't have time to dig through. So do that early, have it organized.
Totally agree. That would have made my life so much easier. I think the last section is where you're going next. And so if you're going to a condo or a small house, then it's the realtor. It's us, that can help you. If you're thinking about maybe independent living or something like that, there are some really great resources. People who do that for free will know all of the different places and what amenities they offer, financially what that looks like. They have a wealth of information. And I think that they are well worth seeking out because, number one, it is free to you. But that is an overwhelming thought process of where would I pick. And so I think those people would be a really huge asset to the Dream Team.
Yeah, that process usually looks like just having a consultation over the phone most of the time with that placement advisor, and they're going to ask for, what are all of the things? What stage are we at? Do you need just independent living? Are we at assisted living? Are we looking for a continuum of care community where, that it is something on the horizon and we want to make sure that there's not a second move involved.
Right.
The financial picture, and then most importantly, your hobbies, your social,
Right.
How much social activities do you want, the amenities, and there are a lot of great amenities out there available. Especially in the independent living communities, they're beautiful, and you have just so much at your fingertips to meet new friends and have things to do and all of that. So that consultation would be which pieces, what stage are we at, which pieces are most important, and where can you afford with your financial picture to be and get all of those, and then giving 3 or 4 of the best options so you're not overwhelmed by a Google search result of here's every place within 50 miles.
Right.
How
There's
do
a
you
lot.
even dig into that and know what questions to ask? So it's an amazing service.
It
and
really is.
the people that we know doing that are just the best hearts that will work so hard to make sure that you're finding that perfect community to land in and enjoy.
Yep. Yeah. So I think that's the last kind of piece of that puzzle. So if you need help putting together a Dream Team, that's something that we do as part of our downsizing for people that come and sell their house with us. Our job, our part of it is to sell the house, but we put together all of the rest of it with you as a plan and connect you with the people that you need to be connected with. So, I wish I'd known some of these people existed.
Yeah, we had a quote, we try to have a quote each time, and I think this one is perfect for this idea of having a team of people around you. But the quote is from Helen Keller: "Alone we can do so little, together we can do so much." And I think that that's perfect, and it is always easier and less overwhelming if you have some help making that strategy and breaking it into small pieces.
Well, and I think just don't look at help as a weakness, right? Look at it as a strength, right? You're doing your part that you're good at, and you're going to have some other people that are doing the parts that they're good at, and together you're going to make it happen.
Teamwork.
So much. Yes.
Yeah.
We love teamwork.
Awesome. Well, stay tuned, and we will see you next episode.
Yeah. So next time we're going to do a book report.
I feel like I'm in the 4th grade again. Yes.
We're going to do a deep dive into a book called Keep the Memories, Lose the Stuff by Matt Paxton.
Love it.
Yep. He had 20 years of experience in downsizing. He was on the TV show Hoarders, and now he has his own TV show called Legacy List and PBS. But his book, Keep the Memories, Lose the Stuff, has some really, really great things. So we're going to talk all about his thoughts on downsizing next time.
Awesome. We will see you then. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining us on the Downsizing Roadmap podcast. If you found this episode helpful, be sure to subscribe, leave us a review, and share it with someone who might need a little downsizing inspiration. Have questions or ideas for future episodes? Reach out to us on our website, www.downsizingroadmap.com. Until next time, let's keep simplifying and moving forward.